It's everywhere. And I think for the first time, we are truly seeing evil reveal itself.
Yep.
You know, it's all been living in the shadows, right? It's all
Mm-hmm.
been living in the shadows for this whole time. None of us knew the depths of depravity that were going on, the amounts and levels of cover up.
Yep.
But it's all coming out. Whether they like it or not, it's going to have to
It's
change.
layers upon layers. It's those Russian nesting dolls, and you open it, and there's another one in there, and you open, there's another one in there.
Corruptions at all time, bro. The Epstein files.
I heard there's no files. I heard it's a hoax. And then all of a sudden, he's going to release the files. Well, I thought there was no files.
Man.
He wants an investigation now.
And that is where Joe Rogan walks in. It's layers upon layers of those Russian nesting dolls. And you open it, and there's another one in there. And you open, there's another one in there. Corruptions at all time, bro, the Epstein files. I heard there's no files, I heard it's a hoax. Laughter, and then all of a sudden he's going to release the files. Well, I thought there was no files. Man, an investigation now. Rogan's name is in the Epstein files for a very specific reason. He refused to meet Jeffrey Epstein. Back in 2017, a physicist named Lawrence Cross, who had been on Rogan's podcast, tried to set up an introduction. This was after Epstein's 2008 conviction. Everyone knew what Epstein was. Cross reached out anyway. Rogan's response was not polite. Are you high? Music, he said, then what the hell are you even talking about? No meeting. No polite maybe later, just a hard immediate no. When Rogan talked about it later, he was almost laughing at the absurdity. Music, I was like, are you high? He said he would never have gone, especially after he Googled Epstein. Compare that to other people. Bill Gates kept meeting Epstein after 2008. Music, the guy who co-founded LinkedIn, appears over 2,600 times in the files. Rogan said no immediately. He saw the red flags while everyone else was still playing nice. So when a man like that goes quiet, you pay attention. And Rogan did not just get quiet, he went speechless. After he heard the specific details from this Kardashian complaint, the same man who called Epstein's invitation insane had nothing to say for a beat. Not skepticism, not dismissal, music speechlessness. That is not the reaction of someone who thinks this is nothing. That is the reaction of someone who just realized the pattern he had been warning about was sitting right there. Attached to a family he never connected to it before. Music, a Trump-endorsing podcast host who refused Epstein himself, got disturbed by what this complaint alleges. Music, and that matters because Rogan is not a conspiracy guy on this topic. He is the guy who walked away. His silence gives you permission to be disturbed too. And I think these things like Epstein. And there's probably a bunch of other similar operations that are being run. They provide you with like a really good time, or maybe you're a high profile, extremely wealthy individual and it's hard for you to get hoes. And some guy tells you, hey, we've got everything covered, you know. You come to my island, nothing, you know. What happens on the island stays on the island. Now here is why Rogan's reaction is not just a moment. It is a credibility transfer. Snorts, the same DOJ that holds this complaint, has a ticking clock and it cannot stop it. The Epstein Files Transparency Act, signed into law by President Trump, gives the department until December 19th to release everything in a searchable format. That is not a suggestion, that is a legal obligation, but watch what happened. Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, said just months ago that the Epstein client list was on her desk to review for release. Then the DOJ released a memo saying no client list ever existed. Same administration, same officials, direct contradiction. Rogan called it gaslighting and he was being generous. The department also said there were tens of thousands of videos, then walked that back too. A federal judge already ruled they misled the public. So the institution holding the Kardashian complaint has been caught lying. Has a critical time frame it cannot avoid. And has every reason to make this all go away quietly. Why would anyone trust whatever they release by December? Is and never was part of the Epstein files. She was sentenced in 2025. This was an interview by Trump's lawyer to protect Trump Music from the fallout about the Epstein files. What this really is nothing but a sketchy PR stunt music by the Department of Justice. And we have seen this movie before. The Maxwell interview is to the Epstein music, files what the Barr letter was to the Mueller investigation. Let me tell you what is actually in that complaint. Because this is the part that made Rogan speechless. And it is the part the DOJ is not exactly advertising. The document was filed in the Maxwell case. Music, the complainant says Maxwell had a close relationship with the Kardashian sisters and that they helped use the complainant's identity. Then it gets stranger, it references pregnancy and surrogacy. Music, it claims eggs were used for pregnancies without consent. It brings up DNA testing. It alleges the Kardashian sisters used Music, the complainant's name and money to promote their businesses. There's a specific cosmetic transaction cited, tied to Kylie Jenner in a $600 million deal. Kim is named in allegations tied to identity issues and children. K.H. Lowe and Kendall are referenced for allegedly taking a special interest in the complainant's marriages and name changes. Music, the complainant admits they do not have documents to prove all of it and is asking investigators to look into it. The grammar Music is rough, the document is messy, but it exists. And it connects Maxwell, who was literally convicted of running a trafficking operation, to the Kardashian family. So, what are we supposed to do with that? Here's the theory that keeps circulating, and once you hear it, you cannot unhear it. People are asking what exactly Kris Jenner's strategy was. From the outside, her whole thing was placing her daughters in relationships Music and situations with the most powerful and wealthy men available. Every single time. That was the pattern. And people are asking whether that pattern, giving young women access to powerful Music, men in exchange for influence, wealth, and status, looks different from what Epstein's network was literally convicted of doing. Music now, before anyone jumps in, there is no official documented connection between the Kardashians and Epstein's island. None. What exists is a victim complaint, internet music, theories, and a pattern of elite connections that people are trying to make sense of. But here's the thing Rogan was getting at. Music, he said the system is not broken. It is working exactly as it was designed. Protecting people at the top from consequences Music, every single time. The Epstein network was one version of that, Hollywood's access economy is another. Music, different packaging, same structure. The dots connecting Kris Jenner to this story do not stop at the complaint. The Music family's lawyer, Alex Spiro, appears in the Epstein files. That is not speculation, his name is there. A lawyer who represents the Kardashians' Music also has his name inside the records of Epstein's network. That does not prove anything by itself, but it is a bridge. And the family's rapid rise happened during the exact period of Epstein's 2008 Music plea deal, when he was still moving through elite circles. The names keep overlapping. Diddy, Music, Louise Taylor, the Kardashians, same circles. Again, not proven, but these are not random theories either. They are patterns that enough people are noticing that a victim went to the Department of Justice and put it all in writing. And that document Music is still sitting there unexamined, banging children. See, the thing is, the average American probably can tell the difference. But there are sub-average individuals that all they want to know is you're on the list. And they hear you're on the list and they might try to kill you. But the pressure is not just coming from a complaint on a website. Ray J is actively suing Kim Kardashian and Kris Jenner for breach of their 2023 settlement. Music, he has live-streamed claims of a federal RICO investigation into what he calls Kris Music, RICO. And a judge just denied the Kardashians' bid to keep portions of that settlement private. That means whatever Music they agreed to, whatever they did not want the public to see, may soon become public. Ray J has repeatedly alleged that the family Music orchestrated the release of the tape that made Kim famous. And he is not backing down. The Kardashians sued him for defamation. Music, he filed a countersuit. Now, a judge is forcing more of that settlement into the open. Music, that is not a rumor, that is a court ruling. The same family named in an Epstein-adjacent complaint is also fighting in court to keep a settlement secret while the other side claims they have been running a criminal enterprise. They're mentally messed up. They're there whether you got a $2 billion budget or you got a $200,000, everybody's done. Music, they're going crazy, suicidal, and then there is Paris Hilton.